This world was born from silence, a canvas of vibrant greens and endless blues. I took my first steps, feeling the familiar crunch of grass under my feet. The sun was warm, the air was crisp, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. I gathered wood, crafted my first tools, and set my sights on a distant mountain range. It was a new beginning, a fresh start. But then, I turned back. Where the tall oak tree once stood, there was only a void, a gaping, empty nothingness. The ground I had just walked on was gone, erased from existence. I blinked, thinking my mind was playing tricks on me. But as I watched, another chunk of the world simply dissolved. The panic set in. This wasn't a glitch. My world was disappearing. Every step forward became a race against oblivion. I couldn't stop, couldn't rest. The moment I paused, the creeping emptiness would catch up, devouring everything in its path. I ran through a dense forest, the leaves rustling as I passed. When I looked over my shoulder, the trees were fading like ghosts, their trunks turning translucent before vanishing completely. I left a sign behind, hastily scrawled with the words, "A forest stood here." It was a desperate attempt to preserve a memory, a futile proof that this beautiful place was once real. The sign, too, was swallowed by the void moments later. My journey took me across sweeping plains, where herds of sheep grazed peacefully. I watched them, knowing their time was short. As primera mobed, on their green pastures, turned to gray static, and then nothing. I found a village, bustling with life. Villagers went about their day, their calls echoing through the streets. I wanted to warn them, to tell them to run. But how do you explain that their very reality is about to be unwritten? I traded for some bread, a small moment of normalcy in this collapsing world. By the time I reached the edge of the village, the blacksmith's forge had already disappeared. The library, with all its knowledge, crumbled into the void. I left a chest with a single loaf of bread inside, a testament to the life that was here. I crossed oceans that were once vast and deep. I'd sailed for what felt like days, only to see the water behind my boat dry up, revealing a seabed that was promptly erased from the world. Coral reefs, teeming with colorful fish, flickered out of existence. The world wasn't just being it was being forgotten. The further I went, the more I realized the scale of this decay. It was relentless, methodical. Was I the cause? Was my presence somehow triggering this cosmic unraveling? The thought was a heavy burden, a weight that pressed down on me with every step. I had to keep moving, not just for my own survival, but to see what lay at the end of this road to nowhere. Through deserts of crumbling sand and over mountains that evaporated into the sky, I pressed on. I saw wonders that no one else would ever witness. Towering ice spires that melted into the void, lush jungles that wilted in seconds. I was a ghost, haunting a world that was dying around me. My inventory was filled with relics from places that no longer existed. A flower from a meadow, a block of sand from a forgotten beach, a piece of wool from a sheep that was now just a memory. These items were my only connection to the past, the only proof that I wasn't just imagining it all. The loneliness was profound. I was the sole witness to the end of a world, a silent observer of its final moments. Then, I saw it. Amidst the chaos of a decaying savanna, a structure stood untouched. It was made of a strange, dark stone I'd never seen before, covered in glowing, intricate carvings. While the world around it vanished, this ancient ruin remained solid, immune to the decay. A strange hum vibrated in the air, a low-frequency thrum that seemed to resonate deep within my bones. The carvings depicted strange symbols, figures locked in a repeating pattern, a circle with no beginning and no end. I walked closer, my heart pounding. The void stopped at its edges, unable to consume it. This place was different. It was an anchor in a sea of nothingness. As I explored the ruins, the pieces started to come together. The looping patterns on the walls, the central chamber with a pulsating crystal at its heart. This wasn't just a world dying. It was a world in a loop. It was being born, living, and then erased over and over again. And I was trapped inside it. This ancient machine, or whatever it was, seemed to be the source of it all. Was it a prison? A failed experiment? The carvings hinted at an ancient power, a force that tried to control time itself, and failed spectacularly. The world's disappearance wasn't an end. It was a reset. My journey wasn't a straight line. It was a circle. The realization didn't bring comfort. It brought a new kind of terror. If this world was just going to reset, what was the point of my struggle? Would I just spawn again, with no memory of this, and be forced to watch it all crumble once more? I looked at the pulsating crystal. It pulsed with an energy that felt both ancient and unstable. Could it be stopped? Could the loop be broken? The ruins offered no clear answers, only more questions. The carvings were cryptic, their meaning lost to time. But one thing was clear. This structure was the key. It was the heart of my prison, and perhaps the only way out. I stood before the crystal, the hum growing louder, the light more intense. The world outside the ruins continued its silent collapse. I could feel the reset coming, a strange pressure building in the air. The choice was mine. I could let the loop complete itself, let my memories be wiped clean, and start this tragic journey all over again. Or I could try to interfere. I could try to break the machine. It was a risk. I had no idea what would happen. Would it save the world? Would it destroy me? Or would it unleash something far worse? But I knew I couldn't just stand by and watch this world die again. I had to try. With the ground trembling and the last remnants of the world fading away, I reached out my hand towards the crystal. The energy crackled around my fingers. This was it. My one chance to change my fate, to give this world a future beyond its predetermined end. The light from the crystal enveloped me, bright and blinding. I didn't know if this was an ending or a new beginning, but as the void closed in, I held on to one single, defiant thought. I will not be erased. My story will not be forgotten. The world deserves more than just an endless cycle of decay, and I will be the one to break the loop. Or I will be undone trying. The journey is not over. It has just begun. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next chapter.